Now, you mentioned the Big 12, and obviously somebody had to slide into that 4 spot.
Hey, everything that you laid out that needed to happen happened.
I know. I'm a prophet. Oklahoma gets into that 4 spot after beating Baylor in the Big 12 championship, and really a phenomenal effort from the defense, aside from like 2 plays. That's a defense that, Kyle, you were telling me they're what, 26, 28?
26.
26. That's a remarkable turnaround for that defense relative to where they were the last couple of years.
I mean, they were like in the hundreds last year, am I right?
Yeah,
That's insane.
They were quite literally among the worst defenses in all of the bowl subdivision.
That's an unreal turnaround.
Yeah. No, obviously, Oklahoma looks like a sacrificial lamb to LSU, and I get that. My thing is this, though. If OU doesn't have the hiccup against Kansas State, then people are they're not outright dismissing that team. Now we're talking about 4 undefeated teams, like in the most incredible Final Four ever, and I don't think people are just automatically handing that game to LSU, provided OU doesn't kind of lay an egg at Manhattan in some respects, but in other respects, I mean, they controlled that football game against K-State a lot the same way that they did the TCU game, and in the TCU game, the score was way too close relative to like what the scoreboard looked like in every other facet of the game, whereas at K-State, it was a lot of the same thing. I mean, Oklahoma looked like they were in control of that game throughout. Ultimately, and this has happened now a handful of times, it came down to Jalen turning the ball over. And so I wonder what we would be saying collectively, college football media would be saying if Jalen would just stop putting the ball on the ground and Oklahoma hadn't lost to Kansas State, or they hadn't looked the game against TCU hadn't looked like it was close, because I'm telling you right now that game was not close. They were in control.
It was 21-0 at one point.
And that was the weirdest final score for a game ever, because you're sitting there and you're not worried even late in the fourth when TCU has the ball, because they haven't done anything all night long. So
your mind can't even get adjusted fast enough to thinking the game is close.
No,
by the time it's close.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm just relaxed. I was too busy talking shit to the guy behind me to even care about what was happening on the field. Yeah, I don't think I've said that on the show, but I called the guy behind me spoiled because he was complaining about Lincoln Riley. I wouldn't stand for it.
That's fair.
I would hate to have to complain about Lincoln Riley. That just sounds
It'd be
awful.
tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The greatest offensive mind in all of football, and
what a rough life.
It's tough having him as the head coach, but somebody has to have him.
It's gonna be karma for that guy when he goes to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'll actually get a little bit of enjoyment out of that. Last thing I'll say, and then we can move on because we gotta hustle a little bit here. I do love this spot for Oklahoma because, and I know that sounds kind of nuts, but OU rarely has the opportunity to be a true underdog, and in this game they are the truest of underdogs, and I think there's an opportunity for them on the ground. LSU's got gashed a little bit. Ole Miss made them look a little leaky in the run game, and obviously they got some guys back, as you pointed out, Kyle, so it's not the same team that Ole Miss saw, but Oklahoma's really effective on the ground. Jalen in particular has changed the way that offense looks in their ground attack. Not having Ramondre Stevenson is going to really suck.
I was going to ask about
the
likely suspensions.
Yeah. So, 3 guys are out. Trajan Bridges is out. That doesn't matter. But Ronnie Perkins is the best pass rusher on the team. That matters a lot. And not having Ramondre at running back just because we've been banged up in the backfield. It's weird to say because they were so deep there at one point, but now Sermon is out. And Kennedy Brooks has been a little banged up. I think he's going to play, or at least Lincoln Riley said he was going to play. So they at least have him in Pledger. But Stevenson was a beast in the Big 12 championship, so not having him back there sucks. Anyway, all that to say, I think there's a path for success for Oklahoma on the ground against LSU, but ultimately it doesn't matter if you can't cover Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall, and they can't get pressure on Burrow, then it's gonna look a lot like the SEC championship.
Yeah.
So
with you there.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, and I know we got to run, but OU's ground game has been awesome since that Kansas State game. But Burrow gets the ball out of his hands so quickly that if you just can't stop him, there's nothing. You're going to have to go to the passing game if you're down early in the game. You can't establish the run.
Right.
But, I mean, the one thing is that if you can say anything about LSU's defense, that they struggled with a mobile quarterback. Against Auburn, that game was close, and that's a freshman. So, Jalen Hurts is a total different beast to deal with. So it always gives you a chance.